Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all of you. This lecture is about writing assignment or writing a project. During an academic career, preparation of assignments, report writing, description of a situation, project preparing, presentation of a topic or presentation skills, all of them are integral parts of learning process. In this lecture, our focus is how to prepare an assignment or write a report. Introduction. A good writer is always a skillful and sharp reader. A writer should write fluently, confidently, and relevantly on the selected or chosen topic. This gives a writer an immense advantage over others whose literary skills are comparatively modest or weak. For an effective write-up, certain measures are quite useful for attempting the topic. Next stage is to put or to ask some useful questions. For instance, what exactly am I asked to do? For instance, discuss, illustrate, analyze, described, or something else. Now, next question is what is the question getting at? Or what is the core argument to be developed for a topic? So the core argument means the main theme, the main discussion for a topic. Just like identifying keywords and relationships between them. Then next step is which section of the course does it relate to? For instance, chapter or a particular section or anything else, notes or the recommended texts. Useful questions. Now we can set certain questions to be addressed when we are attempting a topic. How will I cover the main issue, ideas, draw on information from the lecture notes, case studies, articles, research papers, or some other sources? Now next is what relevant examples, evidence, themes and ideas can I use from my course or my readings or my previous studies? If dealing with a project, what can I use from my personal experience and how can I back it up with valid references and sources? What is the logical order in which to present ideas and what conclusion will be reached or what conclusions can be drawn at the end of the project? Now during the assignment or during the questions of the assignment, rather we should say, there are certain terms, and those terms are those words, they are very, very important and they have their specific meanings. For example, account for. So account for give the reasons behind. When there is a question of, about account for, then it means the examiner is interested to provide the given reasons behind that topic. In the same way, analysis. Analysis means write about various aspects of a topic. Assess. Assess means weight up the strength or value of something. Compare and contrast. To write about the similarities and differences between the two things you are directed to. So in this approach, we have to write the similar things and the dissimilar or different things. Describe or description. Describe, to recreate the picture for the reader's imagination. When we describe something, we actually paint a picture for the imagination of the reader or readers. Similarly, discuss means write about various ideas and opinions that have been expressed on this particular subject or on this particular topic. Words and their meanings, it's continued with the previous slide. So elaborate on, the meaning of elaborate on is write more about this, add the important information and details. Similarly, evaluations are to evaluate means weight up the strength and value of something. To examine means to look at the various areas and issues involved are related with the topic. Explain, explanation or explain, make known in more detail, and particularly for this you will need to include specific details and information. Similarly, justify means support with all the evidence you can or you have. Outline means write about the important aspects of something relevant with the topic. Next step is to know about the literature or reading relevant literature or relevant material, study materials. You might want to use the following questions for relevant literature or reading relevant materials. Now, who is the author of the book or the source of information? What is that source? Is this source credible, authentic, can be considered seriously? What is the main idea or general message in it? What specifically am I asked to believe or to accept from that relevant material? Then next is, what specific evidence does the author cite in support of his or her position or his or her argument? Is this evidence valid and convincing? If not, what other evidence would I need in order to be satisfied with the conclusions drawn or the other recommended approaches? A next step for the preparing assignment is critical reading. Are there any alternative explanations of the evidence supplied by the author? If so, what are they and what conclusions do they lead to? Then, what is the best or most plausible explanation warranted by the evidence available? What are the main ideas that I have learned from this book or this article, research paper, or any other source of information? How do these ideas or findings fit in with what I already know about the given topic or the suggested assignment? For writing a report, a research article, or assignment, or any project, references are very, very important. And the citation of these references, they have various styles. The main styles for references, that is in-text citations and in-text citations. How they are, we will discuss in the coming lectures about the details of these various styles, but usually we use APA style for the giving the references or citations, then MLS style and Harvard style. Similarly, we have some other styles as well, just like Chicago style and Turabian style, but now the popular ones are APA styles and MLA styles. Now for the explanation, we will select a report from Headway Video Activity Book. In this book, there are various reports, and for example, a day in London, the train driver, the party, the bank, William Shakespeare, tea, climbers, the dinner party, etc., etc. We have selected one situation or one report for this lecture. This is a brief report about tea. Now look at it. How we can take preparations for the report writing or assignment. In the given situation or video, the etymology of the word tea is discussed, then historical perspective is taken, then a survey is conducted for drinking of the tea in particularly UK. In UK, how the drinking of tea or what is the amount or cup of tea or other information. This information is collected through a survey. Then the introduction of drinking of tea in the institutions, then tea breaks. All this information is collected in a very brief video, but you can take these points, these tips, how you can prepare a report or how you can write your assignment.
The legend is that the Chinese Emperor Shen Nung discovered it nearly 5,000 years ago. The Chinese call it cha or teh. Now people drink it all over the world. In Britain, it is the most popular drink. We use 12,000 million litres of water every year to make it. And the average British person drinks 3.5 cups per day, usually with milk, and sometimes with sugar. Which do you prefer, tea or coffee?
Tea.
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 How many cups of tea do you drink a day?
About 4, I would think.
About 10.
I would say about 12 on average, yeah.
About 4 cups a day.
About 10.
I like a nice cup of tea in the morning for to start the day, you see. And at 11:30, well, my idea of heaven is a nice cup of tea. I like a nice cup of tea with me dinner and a nice cup of tea with me tea. And when it's time for bed, there's a lot to be said for a nice cup of tea.
We make tea from this, the dried leaves of a plant called Camellia sinensis. It grows naturally in China and India. The biggest tea exporters are Sri Lanka, India, China and Kenya. They produce about 70% of the world's tea. But when did tea first come from the east to the west? In the 17th century, sailing ships from Europe travelled all over the world. In 1610, a Dutch ship brought a small box of tea from China to Holland. 40 years later, in 1650, tea arrived in Britain. Samuel Pepys, who lived in London at that time, wrote in his diary on Sunday the 25th of September 1660.
I tried a cup of tea, a China drink, of which I never drank before.
Tea became very popular. In the 19th century, the Americans designed a new type of ship to bring tea from China to the West. These ships were called tea clippers, and they were the fastest ships in the world. This is the Cutty Sark, the most famous British tea clipper. It was built in 1869. In the early 1800s, the Duchess of Bedford started the tradition of afternoon tea. She thought she'd like to have something between lunch and dinner. A cup of tea and something to eat. Fortunately, at about the same time, the Earl of Sandwich had a good idea. He put a filling between two pieces of bread and gave it his name. Afternoon tea quickly became a very fashionable new custom.
When do you drink your tea?
Mostly morning and evening.
Morning, afternoon, and before going to bed.
All the time. I work in an office, so we're always drinking tea all through the day.
In the morning, dinner times, tea time, in the evening, before I go to bed.
Throughout the day, really. Mostly in the morning.
In most factories and offices in Britain, people stop work for a few minutes in the middle of the morning and in the middle of the afternoon to have a cup of tea and maybe a biscuit. This is called a tea break, a tradition that started about 200 years ago. In the last century, some employers tried to stop the tea break. They said it made the workers lazy, but it was too late, and today millions of people look forward to their tea breaks every day. People drink more tea in Britain than in any other country. The average person drinks 1,355 cups per year. Next is Ireland, then New Zealand, Turkey, and Australia. In the rest of Europe, they prefer to drink coffee.
This was about preparation of assignment or project. Then in the following lectures, how a topic is presented or presentation skills in the coming lectures will be considered. And in the coming lectures, our focus will be to inform you about the presentation skills and the presentations of the topics. Thank you very much for your kind attention. God bless you.